All right, well, I'm absolutely amazed by the number of different countries we've got represented on here. And I just want to say a massive welcome to everyone. And I put welcome up here in a few different languages. Maybe you recognize one of them, that's one of yours. But yeah, it's just great that when we're doing the honor, which is called Country Fun, we've got people from so many different places. And as Pastor Dan said in his prayer, you know, God created the earth. He created all of us. He created the different countries. And that's why I'm so excited about learning about different places, different cultures, different languages, people. And that's what we're going to do today. So we'll start off with just having a look at the requirements for this honor. So the first thing you'll want to do is pick a country you want to study. Now, you may want to study a country very close to your own country, that's nearby, or you might want to go a bit further afield and maybe study a contrasting country. Now, I heard somebody saying, I think Dan was saying there's people here from Barbados. Now, the climate, I think, is quite warm out there. You might want to look at maybe one of the northern countries, somewhere like Iceland or Norway, Finland, that has a very different climate, so different weather, different culture to where you are. The first thing you'll need to do after that is go on a world map and find the location of the country and identify which continent it's on. Now, I'm going to say a little bit more about continents during the presentation. Also, you need to find and draw or trace a map and the flag of your country. And then we want you to learn 6 facts about the country. Now, there's some suggestions here, but you could find out some other things as well. But some of the suggestion is to find a picture of the traditional dress of the country or draw a picture, learn a song, either Sabbath song or secular song, listen to the country's national anthem, learn to play a game, name the main religion of the country, collect something like a stamp or postcard or a coin, read or listen to a legend, a myth or story from that country. Then we also would like you to look at making a simple craft or making a recipe of some food that is native to that country. And finally, and probably the most important, is go to your Bibles and read about how languages originated or started at the Tower of Babel. And that story you can find in Genesis 11, verses 1 to 9. So, continents. What is a continent?
Angelica, maybe we should ask our adventurers to put it in a post or in a chat so that we can have them engage as well. So what is the continent, everybody? If everybody can just start writing, and make sure you write things properly so that we can, excellent. Let's have a look at what the different comments are saying. All right, people are saying the continent, it says it is not a country. That's number 1. Continent is not a country. Somebody said it is a large landmass. I think that explains a lot. Well, well, somebody says continent is continent, and large area that and group of countries together. So Angelica. It's a continent is a place, somebody says, a big place, land that has a lot of countries.
Well, they're all really, really, really excellent answers. The definition I've got is that a continent is a large area of land, often separated from other areas of land by the sea, and continents are made up of different countries. So I think we covered all that in the answers. So my next question is this. How many continents are there? And I'm going to put the 2 questions together. And can you name them?
All right. So it is very. How many continents there is? Let's answer that question first. All right. People are ahead of them. Okay. Sorry. I just. Okay. Everybody. Okay. So how many continents we have? It is a question for everybody. So the numbers are flying in, Angelica, and I can tell you, we have some unbelievably wise adventurers. They're saying 7 continents. 7.
I'm impressed.
And
very impressed.
now when you guys managed to get the right correct number of the continents, which we are very impressed about, can you name some of them? That's it also. Let's try to put that. Okay, somebody said Africa is a continent.
Yep.
All right, let me just see. Okay, Asia is a continent. Okay, that's very interesting. South America is a continent. Oh, somebody just managed to post them all. Well, wow, somebody just posted them all.
All seven?
All seven. I don't know how quickly they can type, but this is unbelievable. Somebody just said Europe. Okay. So we have a North America. They're slowly coming in. I could have easily read it from the group of the continent, but it's much more fun to see here. What else we have? Angelica, Australia. Is it Australia continent, Angelica?
Okay, let's have a look whether we've got them all. So here are the 7 continents. I think the only one I didn't hear you mention, Pastor Dan, is Antarctica.
That's probably because not too many people live there.
No, it is a fairly empty continent.
That's right.
But fantastic. So we have 7 continents: North America, South America, Europe, Asia, Africa, Australia, and Antarctica. Now, there's something very special about Australia. Now, if you have a look at the map that I've got on the slide, you will see there's a big landmass that's green, and that is Australia, the country, because Australia is both a country and a continent. The continent of Australia includes the country of Australia, as well as some of those little green dots and smaller green areas. And if you look to the southeast of Australia, near the bottom left there, bottom right even, I do have problems with left and right sometimes, there are these 2, one longish and one shorter green space, and that's New Zealand, which is also part of the continent of Australia, but is a separate country. So let's move on to countries. Continents can be further divided up into countries. Countries are all small areas of lands with borders that separate them from other countries, and each has their own government. Did you know there are 195 different countries in the world? Some are large, some are small. In fact, you could probably, if you again look into that bottom right, we've got Australia, the country of Australia down there. We could probably fit most of Europe into that country of Australia.
And if we were in a time zone where Australians could be watching this, they'll be so glad to hear that, because I saw so many maps in which Australia fits all Europe inside of it.
Yes, I've seen those too. So here comes a little bit more information about me. I was born in Germany, and Germany is a country on the continent of Europe. I want you to have a quick look. Can you see where that is on the map? I'm not going to make you wait too long.
Okay.
So yeah, right there. It is surrounded mostly by other countries, except at the north, where we've got the North Sea and the Baltic Sea. But some of the countries that go around Germany are Poland, the Czech Republic, Austria, Switzerland, France, Belgium, Netherlands, and Denmark. Now, I was very lucky as a child because I also lived for a time in Africa. Now, this map shows the continent of Africa. There are actually 54 countries which make up that continent. And when I was little, my dad worked in Nigeria, and I lived there for 3 years with my family. After the 3 years, I was sent back to Germany to go to boarding school and continue my German schooling there. It was very, very different living in Nigeria to living in Germany. One of the biggest changes was when I moved there, it was December. So it was very, very, very cold in Germany. When we arrived in Nigeria, it was very, very hot. That was the first shock that I experienced, going to a very different country, very different culture. But My favorite thing about living in Nigeria, and we lived in Lagos, which is a city on the south coast, and we could go to the beach every day. Well, when we weren't in school anyway. So let's just look. So Nigeria is in Western Africa, and similar to Germany, is mainly surrounded by other countries. Benin, Niger, Chad, Cameroon are the countries that are surrounding Nigeria. Nigeria's coast is in the south rather than the north. So, flags. Flags show that we belong to a community, an organization or nation, and that we share beliefs, goals, rules, and regulations. We're going to have a look of the flags of 8 countries. And I want you to try and see if you can guess the country from the flag. I'll put the names up later, but to start with, hopefully a lot of you will know this one. And type your answers in as you see the flags.
All right.
I've got another one. I've got about 8 flags. I'll put them up slowly, one after the other.
United Kingdom, and the comments are coming in. Germany, okay. Oh, we got stuck. Oh, somebody says Nigeria. Okay, everybody is still on Germany. Okay, somebody mentioned China and Brazil. Excellent. Antigua. All right. Okay. Angelica, maybe you need to help us a little bit with this because.
Okay, so we've got the UK, got that one. Germany, I think Nigeria was mentioned. Antigua and Barbuda, Brazil, and I was thinking probably the football fans would have definitely known that one. China. The next one, because I know Dare mentioned there were some participants from that country.
Yeah, you're right. They're South Africa. That's right.
South Africa. And the last one is probably one of the lesser known flags. It's the United Arab Emirates.
And I can tell you that nobody mentioned that in our chat in the Zoom. And on the Facebook, I was monitoring this one. I didn't see it, but maybe somebody did say it. Yeah.
Well, I just thought I'll put that one in because it was just one of the slightly less known ones. Anyway, a little bit more about flags. Flags often contain symbols, and those have pictures that have a particular meaning. So we're going to have a look at some of those symbols that you might see on a flag and what they mean. So the sun. The circle of the sun is a symbol for unity and energy, and the flag I've got here is the Japanese flag because Japan is referred to as the land of the rising sun. And its flag uses the sun, that red circle, in its national flag. The moon is also a symbol on flags, but that is usually displayed in a crescent shape. And if you have a look at that flag, this is the flag of Tunisia, you can see the red crescent inside the white circle, so that's the moon, and that's to distinguish it from the sun. And in combination with a star, as you can see here, the moon represents divinity or God. Tunisia has got 3 of those symbols in its national flag. You've got the red crescent moon, the red star, and they are both inside the white circle that represents the sun. Let's have a look at stars. So constellations of stars often represent energy, especially when depicting the night sky or star constellations. Now, constellations is kind of like when we play a bit of dot to dot with the stars, and if we join certain stars up in a certain pattern, they make pictures, and that's called a constellation. So the flag of the USA is called the Stars and Stripes because that has got loads of stars if you look in the upper left corner there on a blue background. The cross, now I learned this one, I didn't know this before. In ancient times, the cross only symbolized the different points of the compass. So a quick question for you to type in the chat. What are the 4 points of the compass?
Let's hear. What are the 4 points of the compass? It's a very tough question, I think. Let's have a look. The chats are now enabled. Okay, wow. People just, that's the reason why it took them a little bit of time, because they just want to write all 4 of them. And so the people are saying it is north, it is south, it is east, and west.
Fabulous. Excellent. So initially, that's what the cross symbolized. It was just those 4 points of the compass. But in the 4th century, the cross was also taken as the symbol of faith. And that was obviously in reference to the Christian religion, which had started to develop by then, following the life and death of Jesus Christ. Now, I have put here the English flag for you. Now, I know we saw the UK flag earlier, and some of you may know that the UK is actually made up of 4 countries. England is one of them, and this is the English flag. What are the other 3?
Angelica, I can see that a teacher is coming out. Okay, let's just see everybody public. Okay, guys, what are the other countries that are not? So it's England, all right. Northern Ireland.
Yes.
Scotland.
Yep.
Wales.
That's it. Fantastic. So those 4 countries make up the United Kingdom. Now, one of the other things that every country has is something called a national anthem. Now, a national anthem is a patriotic song that shows people's love for their country. And they're often sung and or played at important events, things like major football matches, the World Cup, the Olympic Games, at occasions like in this country, the coronation of a king or queen. And national anthems, some of them are religious, others are about important battles, and others just simply talk about the pride people have in their nation, in their country. So we're going to listen to 3 national anthems now. And here is the first one. I wonder whether anybody recognized that one.
I'm sure we did. Yeah. We did recognize it.
Yep. So that is the anthem of the United Kingdom. Here comes my second one. All right. Any ideas on that one?
A lot of people said it is a German national item.
It is the German national anthem, and in Germany we actually know this as Deutschlandlied, which translated means song of Germany. Now here comes my last one, possibly a little less well known, but some of you may know this one. Any ideas?
And you are right, Angelica. There was a lot of guessing. The guessing went into the direction of Africa mainly.
Yes.
And I can say the majority, well, not majority, but a group of them said it is it's Ghana.
It is Ghana, and here's the Ghanaian flag as well. And the title of this one is God Bless Our Homeland, Ghana. Now, as well as anthems, countries always have their own style of music, often different instruments that people play. And I just thought it'd be fun for you guys to have a listen to a German children's song that I learned to sing as a child. Now, the good news is I am not going to sing it for you because I haven't got the best singing voice in the world. I'm going to play it to you so you can listen to it. I've put the German words on the side here. I know most of you won't know them, but after we've listened to the song, I will go through the story behind the song, the meaning of it all. So let's have a listen. So the song is called Little Hans. Now Hans is quite a common German name, and it tells the story of little Hans who decides to go and explore the big wide world on his own with his walking stick in his hand and his hat on his head. But as he turns round to wave goodbye, he sees Mum crying really hard because her little boy is leaving. So he changes his mind and hurries back home. And the second verse talks about Hans coming back and saying, Mummy, I'm back, and believe me, I'm never going to go away from you again because, you know, it is just so lovely at home. So that's the story behind the song. It's always hard to translate these kinds of songs into another language because they're often much more meaningful in the language that they are actually written in. Now, something a little bit different. Again, traditional dress. Many countries do have their own traditional dress. So traditional clothing is often an important part of a region or an area's history and identity. And in some areas, national dress is actually seen as a kind of unofficial uniform that is worn only on very special occasions. I've got 3 examples for you to have a look at. We've got, in the first picture, 3 Japanese children, and the dress that the girls are wearing is called a kimono. And again, very colorful, isn't it? Lots of bright colors and patterns here. Also love the headdress the older girl is wearing. It's very, very beautiful. And the boy, it's a little bit more sober, but again, a long stripy rope there as well. The second picture is from southern Germany, Bavaria specifically, but you will also see this kind of national dress in Austria and Switzerland, because those areas is all the Alpine region where the mountain range called the Alps is. So there are some similarities in the national dress. What the girls are wearing, the girl and the lady is wearing, is called a dirndl. That's a tricky word to say, I know. And the boy and the man are wearing what we call lederhosen. Now, lederhosen are basically pants, short pants, as you can see, made from leather. And then the last picture is of some Ghanaian children. And you can see again the pattern here. There's a lot of pattern, a lot of bright, lively colors. It's really cheerful, isn't it? Really chirpy. And I'm probably going to say this wrong, but this kind of cloth is called kente cloth. And please forgive me if I haven't pronounced it quite right. So
that's correct, Angelique.
Oh, thank you. I'm always a little bit worried. Now, something else that you might want to find out about when you do your country project is about games. Now, a lot of games that children play are the same or quite similar across the world. Playground games like tag, hopscotch, skipping, football, they're all played in many countries. Here's a game that I played as a child. In German, we call it Topfschlagen. In English, hit the pot. So what you do is you get a cooking pot and a small gift or a piece of chocolate or sweet is put into the pot. And then one of the children is blindfolded, as you can see in the picture, and they're given a wooden stick or wooden spoon. And the pot is put somewhere on the floor in the room where the child is. The other children stand around and watch and can help. The idea is that the child uses this wooden spoon to try and locate the pot. Those who are watching can help by shouting hot or cold, or in German, heiß oder kalt. And obviously when they find the pot and they bang on the top of it to say that they found it, they can keep what is inside, and then the pot gets hidden again for another child. So everybody gets a turn. It gets very noisy, this game. Another game I played as a child is Ayo. This is a game I learned about in Nigeria, and it's played by two people. They face each other across 2 rows of 6 pockets, or often holes in the ground, but here you can see a wooden Ayo board. Each player places 4 seeds or stones in each of their 6 pockets, and they then take turns picking up all of the pieces from one of the pockets and dropping one of them into another pocket one by one. Now, you can only pick up the stones in the last pocket if there are 2 or 3 stones in that last pocket you dropped a stone in. And if that is the case, if there's 2 or 3, then you can pick those stones up and they are yours and you put them to one side. The first player to empty all of the other players' pockets so that there's no stones left on the other player's side is the winner of the game. It is quite a strategic game, and there are actually competitions that even adults have for this. So it's not just a children's game. And then I thought I would go to Afghanistan. Now, Afghanistan is a country in Asia that has seen a lot of war over many, many years. But the children there still know how to have fun. And Akab, or eagle, is a tag game they play. So one child is the eagle, and the eagle sits up on a rock. The other children, who pretend to be pigeons, stand on the home base or safe area. And then the children leave the safe area and pretend to be pigeons pecking at the ground for food. The child, who's the eagle, leaves the rock and swoops down and chases the other children. When the eagle touches a child, that child is out of the game. And the play continues until the last pigeon has been caught and is out. And then if they want another game, they'll choose a different eagle to continue the game. Quite similar to the game of tag that a lot of you might play in the playground. There are so many games around the world to find out about. So I'm kind of looking forward to hearing what you're going to learn about games. Crafts. How many of you have seen origami, I wonder? Origami is a Japanese craft, and in Japanese, ori means to fold and kami is paper. So it's the art of paper folding, and it's been practiced in Japan for many hundreds of years. So almost every Japanese child learns how to fold origami, and it is very, very useful for learning about mathematical concepts, engineering skills. But you know what? It's just fun. So if you want to make an origami at home, I suggest you start off by making a crane. It's one of the easier ones, and you can see a picture here of some cranes. And the crane in Japan is the bird of happiness. And that's believed to live for 1,000 years. But the crane has also become a symbol of peace, hope, kindness, and healing. And we need a lot of that in our world at the moment. So what you could do maybe is make some paper cranes, string them together, and hang them in front of your door, or give them to someone as a gift, maybe a neighbor or a friend, somebody who's sad. I've left you an example of how to do the crane folding on the picture here on the slide. So if you want to go back to it later, or go online and find some instructions online and have a go.
Also, Angelica, we would like to encourage everybody who is taking part in maybe making some of these crafts to take the pictures and send them so we can share with everybody on a Facebook as well. Because every Wednesday we have a small gallery, about 50, 60 photos from all different adventures and pathfinders, and they share their crafts and they share sometimes the things that they did with us. And the email that you can use for that is my email, dayan@adventist.uk. So I'll just post that in a chat.
Oh, I'm going to be looking out for that next Wednesday then.
Sounds good. Sounds good.
So the other art that I've chosen is the Australian dot art. Now, the Australian Aborigines, which are the people who lived in Australia before anybody else got there, are famous for their dot art, and they use this kind of painting as a way of telling a story and sometimes recording ritual practices. Now, if they wanted to hide a secret story, the Aborigines used to paint dots all over the picture as a kind of camouflage. So only those in the know were able to decipher or understand the hidden pictures within. Dot art is traditionally painted in earth tones, so it uses tiny dots to make patterns and pictures, and all you need is paper, paint, paintbrushes, and a little tip. If you have paintbrushes with wooden handles on the end, the wooden end of the paintbrush is actually really good. If you dip that into the paints, it's really good for making dots like that. You can use tiny dots to create simple shapes like hearts and circles and stars, or you can make something a bit more complex, zigzags, or as you see in this picture here, maybe some small animals. Have a look if you get time with mum and dad always when you're going online, but have a look at maybe some other examples of Australian dot arts and have a go yourself. And again, I'll be looking out on Wednesday for that one. Food. I hope you've all had your lunch because this might make you a little bit hungry. But a lot of countries have one or sometimes more national dishes. So find out maybe what the national dish is for the country that you're going to learn about and find a recipe to cook it for your family. One word of warning on that one, again, if it's something that requires a hob or an oven, please make sure a responsible adult is with you to help you so you don't hurt yourself and get burnt or anything. But let's have a look at some pictures, and I want you to get involved again and see if you can guess what the dish is and the country it comes from. So this is my first dish.
All right. This is a dish I didn't see before. I don't know.
But rice. Vegetables, often meat and shellfish, so mussels, shrimp, that sort of thing. I'll give you a little clue. It comes from a southern European country.
Somebody wrote two words, which I'm not sure. It says, somebody says Pella,
Paella, yes.
Pella Spoine.
Spain. Yes, it's a paella and it is from Spain. Well done. This one's trickier. So this is a noodle dish, again with lots of vegetables in it, herbs. There's usually can be quite spicy.
All right.
Again, clue is it's Asian.
Yeah, that's right. People started flying, putting their answers. So the main two answers are coming, as people are saying it would be, now the third one joined. It is Japan, China, or Korea. And I would say it looks to me Japanese.
They're in the right area of the world. It is a dish called pad thai.
Oh.
And it's actually from Thailand. I think it's the next one. You should, I think the majority will know this one.
This is going to be very hard to guess. Everybody, are you ready for this one? People are writing in at the moment. Yeah, they're all on the same page. They are saying this is pizza and it comes from Italy.
Absolutely. I had to put one in that was very recognizable. Now, this is a dish I learned to eat when I moved to Africa. So that gives you a bit of a clue.
I think it does.
Dish, but it's a particular rice dish.
Okay. People are writing and they are saying that this is jollof rice.
Absolutely. Jollof rice. And this particular dish, although I do understand it's also known in other parts of West Africa, but I learned to eat this in Nigeria.
Okay. For all Ghanaians, I'm very sorry at the moment. Jollof belongs today to Nigeria.
Sometimes these dishes belong to more than one country because it's a regional thing. So Ghanaian wouldn't be completely wrong either. So this.
All right. This is something that I think I know what it is. Let's ask people, what do you think this is? Okay, people are saying that this dish comes from, this is now becoming tricky. It is, okay, people are saying, majority are saying it's coming from Mexico. They think this is taco.
Close. It is Mexico. It's not a taco, but something similar called a quesadilla.
I did not try that. Oh yeah, well, we have some people who are saying that they just completely agreed with you. That's correct.
And it is Mexico. So the country was spot on. And my last one, now this is a very interesting dish. As you can see, it's a bright red soup. And I can tell you that this soup is made from a vegetable called beetroot. So it is a beetroot soup in essence. Any ideas what it is called? And which region area this comes from?
Okay, so people are saying it is coming from Poland.
It can be Poland. I've got a different country here, but again, it's one of those regional ones that goes over a few countries.
Okay, so people are not actually France, they're saying it looks like France.
Okay, the name of it is borscht. I had it down as Ukraine, but yes, Poland and Russia often will claim this one as well.
And I need to say that Facebook was the closest. On Facebook, we found out that people are saying that they think this belonged to Russia. So as you said, sometimes two countries would claim it. Yeah.
All right. So the other thing that varies across the world is religion. Now, I'm assuming that everybody on here is a part of the Seventh-day Adventist Church, which is, of course, a Christian religion. But there are some others as well. In fact, there are a lot of different religions in the world. I've just put some of the main ones down here. Christianity, Islam, Buddhism, Sikhism, Judaism, and Hinduism. And I want us to travel to India for a moment. What do you think is the main religion of India? The main religion of India.
Let's have a look. Facebook comments are saying Hinduism.
Yes, Hinduism. So 79.8, almost 80% of the population of India are Hindu. And this is a Hindu temple where people go to worship, and Hindus worship more than one god. They also, this is one of the sacred symbols, and here is one of the gods that Hindus worship. So let's go to Brazil. What do you think is the main religion of Brazil?
All right, let's hear that. If you can write in the comments. There's so the comments are coming in. They're saying it's a Catholic country. They're saying.
Yeah. So the main religion is Christianity, with 64.6, almost 65% of the population being Roman Catholics. And I just thought I'd share you a wonderful picture of a beautiful church by the sea, and I wish I was there right now. And this picture here is the statue of Christ the Redeemer, which you can find in the city of Rio de Janeiro, which is where the Olympic Games took place in 2016 in Brazil. And this statue is so big, and it's on top of a hill, you can see it from miles around. Last one, what is the main religion of Israel?
Let's see. Okay. The answers are flying in, and everybody was almost everybody is on the same page. They're saying Judaism is the main.
The main religion of Israel is Judaism, with 74.7, so almost 75% of the population who are Jewish. And we've got a picture here of a synagogue in Jerusalem, and also a picture of a very special sort of place of kind of like pilgrimage called the Wailing Wall, where Jewish people go to pray, because this is the only wall that's left of a temple that was destroyed almost 2,000 years ago, a couple of hundred years after Christ lived. So it's a very sacred and a very special holy place for the Jewish people. So we've already talked about this briefly, languages. So there are about 7,000 different languages spoken in the world. So how did we end up with that many languages? You can read the story for yourself in Genesis chapter 11, verses 1 to 9. And that tells us the story of how languages originated at the Tower of Babel. But I've actually got a video for you. So we're going to watch that video together in a minute of the Tower of Babel.
All right, guys. Once again, just to remind you all that all the worksheets are available on our website. At the same time, make sure you send us your craft, as we want to share all of that with our Facebook audience, as we think that we have the best adventures in the world. So, Angelica, are you ready?
I'm hoping so.
That's no problem at all.
Here we go.
Excellent.
So let me
God's story, Tower of Babel. So part of God's story is about how people try to build a really big tower, and it goes like this.
Hang on.
Remember when God created the world and it was perfect?
I'm going to just take it back slightly.
Part of God's story is about how people try to build a really big tower, and it goes like this. Remember when God created the world and it was perfect? Well, God created people to enjoy this perfect world with him. There was no sadness, sickness, or death. Everything was good. And because people trusted God, they would get to live in this perfect world with him forever. Unfortunately, people stopped trusting God. They disobeyed him. And that's when all the wrong things in the world began. People made wrong choices, and their kids made wrong choices, and then their kids made wrong choices. So God decided to start the world over again through one guy, and it filled up with all kinds of people who had one thing in common. They spoke the same language. Today, people all over the world speak different languages. Maybe you speak English, or Spanish, or Mandarin, or Hindi. Well, back then, there was only one language, so everyone understood each other perfectly. One day, these people decided they wanted to build a tower, but not just any old tower. They wanted to build the tallest, coolest, most impressive tower in the world, a tower that would reach the sky so that everyone could see it. Basically, they wanted to show the world how great they were, all on their own, without any help at all. They tried to get to God, but one day, God would come to us instead. Kids, have you ever tried to do something on your own? Something to make everyone else think you're really cool or smart or important? Sometimes we want others to know we can do things by ourselves, and we don't want to give God any credit. Well, that's what these people wanted. So they started building. They stacked brick on top of brick on top of brick until the tower was taller than all the other buildings around it. Even though God loves it when we use our creativity to make things, He doesn't like it when we try to take the credit or glory that belongs to God. Because God is the one who created us in the first place. He gave us our brains so that we could think and dream. And He gave us our hands so that we could build and make all sorts of things. So really, we can't do anything on our own. So when the people built the tower to show how great they were without God, He decided to stop them by confusing them and making them all speak different languages. Now they couldn't understand each other at all. When one guy talked, the other had no idea what he was saying. It made it really hard to work together or even live in the same place. So they all scattered and moved to different parts of the world. They called the place where God confused them Babel. The great news is that people didn't have to build a tower to be with God, because one day He would come to earth Himself to be with us and rescue us, because He loves us. And that's the story of the Tower of Babel.
All right. Now let's go forward. So, as I say, do read that story up for yourselves in the Bible as well. But it was one of my favorite stories as a child. For some reason, it absolutely fascinated me to imagine what it must have been like for all these builders when suddenly nobody understood anybody anymore. So to help you understand some other children, and when they say hello, I want to finish off by learning to say hello in some different languages. Now, I know you can't all join in with me, but have a listen to my version of it, and I've worked really hard to get the pronunciation right. So in Spanish, you might say hola. In French, bonjour. In German, guten Tag. In Chinese, in some areas, because there are different languages in China, but ni hao. In Japan, you might say konnichiwa. In Arabic, assalamu alaikum, which means peace be upon you. In Hindi, you might say namaste. In Hebrew, you might say shalom. In Swahili, hujambo. And in Maori, which is the native people of New Zealand, you might say kia ora. Let's say these again. Hola, bonjour, guten Tag, ni hao, konnichiwa, assalamu alaikum, namaste, shalom, hujambo, kia ora. And that really takes me to the end of our whistle-stop tour around the world and different countries and facts about these countries. So I'm just putting up the requirements for the honor for you to have a little look at again at the end here. And I think we've covered some examples of all of these, except the collection and the story, because I would have just run out of time. But one suggestion, you might want to create a scrapbook or a poster to share what you've learned about your country with your adventurer friends when you can get back together again. And of course, also in a picture maybe to Pastor Dayan that can go up on the Facebook page. And I really hope I'm going to see some of your work in the week ahead. And here's just some examples of that. And that really brings me to the end.
Thank you, Angelica. Thank you so much. We loved it. What we usually do is we usually clap to our presenter, and I will unmute everybody. So guys, prepare to clap, because I used to be able to unmute you, but I can't. Let me just see. Allow participants to unmute themselves. Here it is. Thank you. All right, big thank you, big thank you for your presentation. We loved it. And now what we're going to do next is we're going to go straight to Adinkra. Guys, are you ready? If you're ready, please wave. I just want to see, are you ready for Adinkra? Are you ready? Yeah, we are slowly getting there. Not everybody is ready. All right, okay. Some of them are pictures, by the way, just to let you know. So what we're going to do is we're going to ask Enoch. Enoch, are you able to say hello?
Hello, everyone. Good afternoon.
Excellent, excellent. Enoch, it's good to see you. It's good to see you. What we're going to do is, Enoch, if that's right, for everybody who is leaving us, we're going to say goodbye. For those who are staying, we're going to say, guys, this is one of these beautiful awards that was created here in the British Union, but has a roots in a different land, which connects very well with Angelica's award. Enoch, what we're going to do is we're going to pray, and then we're going to go straight to the next award. Dear God, thank you so much for Angelica and Enoch for the presentations that they prepared for our adventures. We just want to ask, dear God, that you especially bless Enoch as he now presents Adinkra. We just want to ask